We've been watching this moment build for months, the slow tightening of pressure between Washington and Beijing as both sides prepare for a conversation that could define the next decade of global technology and trade. The world's two largest economies are again staring each other down, this time over semiconductors, AI chips, and the metals that make them possible. 2 nights ago, China moved first. In a late evening announcement from Beijing, the government revealed new export controls targeting rare earth elements and permanent magnets, the critical building blocks for everything from smartphones and electric vehicles to missile guidance systems. The new rules go beyond previous restrictions. They now cover not only the materials themselves, but also the machines and expertise needed to make them. In industrial and defense circles, it landed like a thunderclap. Analysts had long expected Beijing to use its dominance in rare earths as leverage, but few expected the announcement to arrive so suddenly or so close to the scheduled meeting between President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping at the APEC summit in South Korea later this month. At first, the story seemed confined to trade watch, and it thrust the obscure world of export controls and mineral policy into the center of global attention. Within hours, markets reacted, and analysts began debating whether this was the opening move in a larger bargaining strategy. Those who have followed President Trump's negotiating style know the rhythm: a hard public threat, followed by a flurry of behind-the-scenes talks. One veteran observer put it this way: sometimes it's hard to tell when he's deadly serious and when it's a negotiating tactic. That ambiguity has become a tool in itself, a signal to allies, adversaries, and markets that nothing is off the table. For China, the calculus is equally clear. Beijing knows its strength lies in its near monopoly on rare earth production, controlling over 70% of the global supply. Yet it also recognizes its dependency. The country still needs access to US-designed AI chips and advanced semiconductor technology. By tightening its grip on rare earth exports, China is testing Washington's willingness to loosen the restrictions that block Chinese firms from buying those chips. It's a dangerous dance. Both sides hold something the other wants, and both are willing to weaponize it. Over the past year, Washington has expanded its own export controls, restricting not just finished semiconductors, but the lithography machines, software, and advanced materials needed to produce them. The goal is to keep US and allied technology out of China's defense and surveillance sectors. Beijing's latest move on rare earths is its clearest retaliation yet. Under the new Chinese rules, exporters must obtain special licenses to ship several newly listed rare earth elements, along with high-performance magnet materials. The controls also cover the specialized equipment used in refining and processing, an escalation that affects not only American companies, but also allies in Japan, South Korea, and Europe. Chinese customs have reportedly begun inspecting shipments of USA chips, including NVIDIA products, at major ports, a clear message that enforcement will be strict. Industry executives are nervous. These minerals are essential. The statement rattled markets and injected fresh uncertainty into an already tense relationship. Behind closed doors, officials are weighing whether Trump's words are a final warning or an opening bid. The timing of his post, just weeks before the APEC summit, suggests a deliberate move to frame the agenda. The White House believes that taking a tough stance now could force Beijing to negotiate from a weaker position, but others fear it could derail the meeting entirely. Beijing, meanwhile, appears confident. State media framed the export controls as a legitimate defense of national interests, arguing that China has every right to manage strategic resources as it sees fit. Yet privately, Chinese officials have hinted that the controls are not absolute, that they could grant exemptions or relax rules if Washington shows flexibility on semiconductor restrictions. Both sides are now engaged in what diplomats call public pre-negotiation, trading statements not across a table, but through press releases and social media. It's a familiar script. Trump did it during his first administration with North Korea and later with the European Union. Each time, the goal was the same: to define the battlefield before the real talks begin. As one analyst put it, we're seeing both governments lob their bargaining chips into the open. The US has semiconductors, China has rare earths. Each knows exactly what the other needs. Still, there are limits to brinkmanship. The US has already imposed some of the highest tariffs on Chinese goods in modern history. Raising them further might inflict more pain on American importers than on Chinese exporters. And while China's rare earth advantage is formidable, it's not absolute. New mines in Australia, the US, and Africa are slowly diversifying the supply. For both Trump and Xi, this standoff carries political symbolism. Trump's administration wants to show American voters that it's standing up to China, defending technology, jobs, and national security. She, in turn, wants to demonstrate that China cannot be bullied, that it will not trade sovereignty for silicon. Each leader has domestic audiences to satisfy and international reputations to guard. The upcoming APEC summit in Seoul now hangs in the balance. If the two presidents meet, it would mark the first face-to-face encounter since the new wave of economic sanctions and retaliations began, a signal that both sides have abandoned dialogue in favor of confrontation. But if the meeting goes ahead, it could become the most consequential handshake of the decade. Meanwhile, the global economy waits. American tech firms are lobbying the White House to avoid escalation, warning that further tariffs could disrupt their supply chains. Defense contractors worry that restricted access to rare earths will delay weapons production. On the other side, Chinese manufacturers face mounting pressure from slowed chip imports, threatening the country's growing AI sector. Economists warn that if both sets of controls remain in place, the impact could be severe, reducing global output, driving up costs for clean energy and electronics, and deepening the technological divide between East and West. For now, neither side is blinking. Trump insists the US holds the stronger hand. She believes time favors China's self-reliance campaign. In truth, both may be right and both may lose if the standoff persists. This confrontation is more than a trade dispute. It's a struggle for technological supremacy, industrial independence, and geopolitical influence. Rare earths and chips are the new oil and steel, the foundation of modern power. Whoever controls them controls the future. In the coming weeks, the world will see whether Trump and Xi choose confrontation or compromise. The stage is set, the statements have been made, and the stakes could not be higher. He's really doing a lot to resolve such complex crises that have lasted for years and even decades, one analyst said of Trump's relentless approach, echoing a sentiment often heard among his supporters. Yet critics warn that this time the crisis could outlast the negotiation. What happens next? Whether the two leaders meet, whether the tariffs rise, whether the